All right, thank you very much, Anjali, for bringing in all of those details. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now move on to a big interview on the show. Well, ride-hailing platform Rapido is expanding its operations into Goa and more cities in Karnataka. Rapido's revenue, remember, has reportedly doubled YOY in FY25. Gross order value has also surged 2.5 times, according to the recent financials that ET now has accessed. The company is also in talks with quick commerce players like Blinkit and Zepto in order to expand more. And to talk about the company's expansion plans, we're now joined by Pavan Guntupalli, the co-founder of Rapido. Thank you very much, Pavan, for joining us here on ET Now.
Thanks, Sumita. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Right, Pavan. So let's first address the big foray into Goa and Karnataka. What are the timelines that you're working with in terms of expansion of these geographies, and why now?
Yeah, so in terms of expansion into Goa, the recent notification that the state government of Goa has given, we see it as a very big step towards towards allowing aggregators in the state. Goa, as we know, has been a very progressive state right since 1991. The state has been the first one to identify and formally recognize bike taxis as a mode of transport. Now, after 35 years later, them allowing aggregators, because this state has almost 8 lakh bikes for a population of almost 15 lakh people. So, and 20,000 cabs. And for a tourism first economy like Goa, that serves almost 1 crore users every year, we believe that this is going to be a very big upgrade. So we are definitely we are definitely replying to the comments that were open for the draft guidelines, and as and when the notification is formalized, we are definitely looking to enter into the state of Goa. Along with that, across the country, we are expanding across 500 cities by the end of this year. As we speak, we are in 250 plus cities currently across India.
Right, Pavan. So let me talk to you. Let me talk to you about the timelines that you're looking at with respect to the expansion into these two new geographies, and then we'll talk about the company's expansion plans into other cities. But first, if you could answer that question about timelines that you're essentially looking at.
Yeah, so in the state of Karnataka, I think we are already present in the cities of Bangalore, Mysore, Belgaum, Hubli, and few other key cities. As a part of our 500 city expansion, we are expanding into 17 other cities along with the existing cities. That I think we would be completing the expansion by this July itself, as early as July itself. And like I've mentioned, Goa, the moment the state formalizes the notification, we'll be looking to enter as and when it happens. And in the state of Karnataka, Rapido does almost close to 8 lakh rides every single day.
All right, so 8 lakh rides every single day in Karnataka. That's a huge number. But give us an assessment of the fact that you're present in multiple cities. What's the kind of traction that you're getting, and how would you compare each of these geographies to one another?
Yeah, so definitely, I think if you look at our year-on-year growth, we have grown 250%. Last year has been a very great year. All our categories, our core category, bike taxi, our newer categories, autos and cabs, have been all healthily growing. And we are proud to actually say that we have been market leaders in bike taxi along with three-wheelers and cabs, which has been a very recent category for us. We are already clocking 500,000 rides, 500,000 rides every single day, and we are already a market leader in key few cities.
Right, so you're market leader in key few cities. You have two-wheeler segment. Are you present in the two-wheeler segment, of course, three-wheeler segment as well, and four-wheeler cab segment as well, even as competition, Pavan, is hotting up in the sector. But what are your growth expectations so far as each of these verticals are concerned, given the fact that especially in the four-wheeler segment, there is immense competition?
Yeah, so we have always been very concentrated on expanding the market rather than competing in the existing online space. Our belief is that the offline space is at least 5x bigger than what the online space in the four-wheeler segment. And in the three-wheeler segment, or the offline space is at least 10x bigger than what the current online space is. And two-wheelers is just a category that we see just a lot of growth potential. Just to give you a comparison, a neighboring company in a neighboring country, they do almost like 40 million rides, which is 4 crore rides every single day. And Rapido does 3.5 million, which is 35 lakh rides every single day. So that is the growth potential that we are still looking at. We believe that we have barely scratched the surface. And yes, we will be more focusing on expanding the market and thereby gaining a lot more market share.
Right. So market share expansion, essentially what you're looking at, and of course the 500 city expansion plan that you have. But Pavan, what's the capex that you're looking at allocating for this expansion, and will you be looking at additional funding?
Yeah, so one of the best part about Rapido growth is we have always grown sustainably. We are operationally break even, and we hope to keep continuing the same. Definitely, we are going to invest in our cities expansion, in our new categories expansion for sure. But all the while maintaining operational break even and trying to always focus on sustainable growth. We are very well capitalized as of now, and we are not actively looking for any funding.
Right, so you're well capitalized, and since you're talking about financials, Pavan, I have to touch upon that as well. We're given to understand that Rapido's revenue has nearly doubled YOY in FY25. The gross order value has also surged 2.5 times. What are the key factors that you attribute to this growth, and by when do you expect the company to be profitable, and what are the timelines that you're working with?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, one of the key things that has always helped us is we start focusing on the offline, bigger, broader picture in the ride sharing. Starting with four-wheelers, our intention is that there are 25 lakh cabs in this country, but only 5 lakh cabs come online or participate every single day in the online economy. Our motto, our products has been very clear on how can we enable the rest 20 lakh cabs come online. To that matter, Rapido has completely revolutionized and innovated with a new business model, which is SaaS model. So Rapido is not the normal aggregator model. Now we have switched to something called SaaS, where we provide our technology, our tools, our product to the drivers, and they utilize it just by paying an access fee or a login fee to maximize their earnings. This we have seen has helped us a lot more to ensure that a lot of people who weren't participating in online economy before, they were participating. As of today, 15% of the drivers or the captains on Rapido, they are for the first time using a ride sharing platform that they have not done before. So innovations like a SaaS model, which also includes that we charge zero commission, that we do not control the price, but we actually give the price control back to the captains, back to the drivers and the users. I think innovations like this have actually helped us gain market share.
Pavan, let me talk to you about a focus on tier 2 and 3 cities in terms of expansion. How does Rapido really tailor its services to meet the unique needs of these markets, and what's the growth potential do you see in these markets versus tier 1 markets?
Yeah, so if you actually see both from a penetration point of view, the best thing about two-wheelers is In India, there are almost 200 million two-wheelers for a population of 1.4 billion. So so one of the things we actually say is if you average it out, almost every single family roughly owns a bike, right? Which also means this bikes are not only existing in the top 7 cities, but also in the deeper parts of the country. A farmer's son might own a bike. A farmer himself might own a bike that he uses to go to his farm, right? Our vision has been, can we utilize these bikes and sort of create a commute mode that will add up to the infrastructure in the tier 2 economy, at the same time create jobs for those local people, local youth, without them migrating to bigger cities. So for us, bike taxi, we believe, is the way that the tier 2 ride sharing is going to improve, and we are clearly seeing that manifesting in a lot of cities. Like a small city like Warangal, we actually do Rapido does a lot more orders than e-commerce in that city. A city like Indore, we do almost 50,000, more than 50,000 orders in that city. So in a lot of these places, we are not Rapido is not only solving affordable and convenient commute, but we are also giving them access to a commute that has not existed. Like in a lot of these smaller cities, after 9 or 10 p.m., there are not reliable modes of commute even available. And hence, Rapido is the only way that these city commutes after these times.
Right. Pavan, of course, some very interesting metrics that you're putting out and sharing with us so far as expansion into these smaller towns and cities is concerned. You also gave an example of Warangal as well. Now, the focus, of course, of the company is on domestic expansion. But do you have any plans of taking the company international? Would international markets be of interest to Rapido in the near future, given the fact that Indian startups are now looking at international to take that made in India story global?
Yeah. So definitely, I think thanks to a lot of government push, thanks to the development and the change in mindset of Indian entrepreneurs, definitely this is the time for companies to think global. To Indian companies are at a place where they can start thinking global. However, that said, for us, especially given in this segment, we still believe that we are barely scratching the surface. Like I've just mentioned, in our neighboring country with almost similar population, in the same country, if a company is doing almost like 40, 50 million rides, and we are roughly only 10% of it, we do believe that there's a lot of scope just within this country. And once we are innovating and revolutionizing commute within this country, then we'll start going global. Until then, I think we'll be staying put within the country.
Right. So that is a plan that you want to take the company global, and all the best to you, Pavan, for that. But, with Rapido's growth trajectory and the kind of growth that we've seen, are there any plans to go public in the near future? And what are the factors that are going to influence this decision?
Yeah, so definitely, like I've earlier mentioned, we are growing sustainably. Our financial position is stronger. We are operationally break even, so we are not burning at all, and that gives us a lot more runway. We have recently raised a round, so we are very well capitalized. We are going to go public, depending on once we want to sort of formalize. We want to formalize um, uh, our commitment. Once we want to formalize our commitment, but as of now, we do not have plans.
You have no plans as of now. So when you say that when you will formalize your commitments and perhaps look at a decent growth trajectory of the company, but still, what are the timelines that you must have thought of going public? I mean, this is something that every startup dreams of.
Yeah. So for us, definitely, I think the balance that we always try to do is pushing the boundaries on innovation, growth, focusing on those problems. At the same time, maturing as a startup into a public company, right? What we are very currently focused on is we are more currently focused on solving the commute problems, and we do realize there is still a lot of innovation that's required, right? And that is something that will be taking a lot more of a bandwidth, and so we'll be more invested and more committed right now to sort of solving the affordable commute woes of this country. And once we have reached a stage, like I said, while we are doing 3.5 million rides every single day, and we are the market leaders of ride sharing as of now, but we still believe that there's a long way for us to go. Once we have reached a stage, at that time, I believe we would start thinking about IPO.
All right. So you will be looking at a potential IPO sometime in the near future, whenever that happens and whenever you are confident of the growth trajectory that Rapido has taken after that expansion plan that you talked about gets fulfilled. But Pavan, Rapido is also experimenting and in talks with quick commerce players like Zepto and Blinkit. So how's that integration coming along, and how do you expect that to reflect on your balance sheet?
Definitely. I think Rapido has been healthily doing delivery for the past 7 years. We have initially partnered with the existing food tech players, and our intention is, can Rapido be the place where the drivers or captains, the riders who are driving, can, whenever they come, their earnings are maximized. As a part of the same, we see that the quick commerce is growing very healthily and very aggressively in this country. So we have already partnered with a few quick commerce companies, and right now, while it's very early, we definitely see it playing a big role in increasing our captain's earnings and as well as our revenue.
All right. So what really is the overall chunk of this particular segment that you expect to reflect on your overall revenues? Pavan, since we are a business channel, we love numbers. Give us some numbers.
So currently, our delivery revenues are under 10%. So they contribute to 10% of our revenues. However, quick commerce is very early. As like I said, it's very early. We have just entered that segment this year. So what we expect is, right now, food tech plus quick commerce, we expect that to go to 15 to 20% of our revenue.
Okay. 15 to 20% is something that you're looking at with respect to the quick commerce segment and its integration with your business as far as that is concerned. But Pavan, give us an overall growth projection that you have for the company as far as this fiscal is concerned.
If we look at the last financial year, we have grown around 250%. I think this year, given the tailwinds that we are already seeing, we expect to grow roughly around 70 to 100% again healthily this year.
70 to 100% is something that you're estimating. So that's excellent, Pavan. And one final question before we let you go. And I have to ask you this, since this is about, the policy aspect of the business. Now, CCPA is investigating, other cab apps as well, Ola apps, and of course, Rapido bike app. They will also be served notice, essentially what the CCPA said, that if they are found indulging in practices like advanced stop feature. What's been your submission to CCPA, and do you plan to modify this particular feature, and what is your take on the overall feature, the advanced stop feature?
Yeah, so quickly, one thing we wanted to always clarify is Rapido is not an aggregator. So Rapido is a SaaS player. What it means is, as a part of being a SaaS player, Rapido does not or cannot control the price. What we do is we give our tools to the drivers, to the captains and the users, and they decide the price. And Rapido doesn't take any portion of anything because we do not control the price. Whatever the user gives, everything is given to the captain. So there is no concept of tipping as such in this business model or in our business model. So that is something that we are looking to sort of submit or clarify in yes.
So that's essentially what you will be submitting and providing the clarification to CCPA. Well, on that note, thank you very much, Pavan, for joining us here on ET Now. You have big growth plans and we wish you all the very best and hope to speak to you soon when that 500 city expansion plan of yours, it happens ultimately. And thank you very much once again for joining us here on ET Now.
Yeah, thanks, Sumita. It's a pleasure being here. Thanks a lot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the big interview that we have today on Startup Central. But let's take a look at some other news stories that are coming in from the startup world. Well, foreign investors and promoters are cashing out in bulk. Today, big block deals worth more than 2,000 crores overall took place in Tata Tech, ABFRL and Alchem Labs. And this following a spate of MNCs and promoters that are exiting stake in the country. My colleague Anurag Joshi is now joining in with the details of the trend.
3 block deals have happened today. These are Tata Technologies, Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, and Alchem Labs. In Tata Technologies, a total of 8.59 million shares changed hands. And the key deal was the TPG Rise Climate, which is a private fund advised by private equity firm TPG. They offered 8.52 million shares of Tata Tech in block trades. Now these deals we have given to understand have happened in the range of 744.5 to 767.5 rupees a share. Now coming to Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, a total of about 108 million shares have changed hands in a total of 21 block deals. The Flipkart deal was the major deal in this counter, and in Flipkart Investments, in fact, sold its entire 6% equity stake in the firm, and the offer from Flipkart Investments was for about 73 million shares, and this was via a bulk sale. Alchem Labs, now that saw 1.72 million shares change hands in the block trade, and a shareholder had offered 1.42% stake in the secondary sale, and this has happened at a floor price of 4850 rupees a share.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's an end to the Startup Central show. Hope you liked watching it as much as we did putting it together for you. From me and the entire team, goodbye and thank you very much for watching.